Welcome, everybody, to episode 3 of Cinema Head Cheese, the podcast. I'm Kevin Moyers, and this week we've got an interview Heather Henshaw did with Tom Towles, who you'll know as Otis in Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. He was also the sheriff in House of a Thousand Corpses, and he's actually been in all of Rob Zombie's movies at one point or another, including the little trailer he did in Grindhouse. So it's a pretty interesting interview and an interesting story. Something that happened on Henry. It was a little scary, but it's been an interesting week or two in the entertainment world. I know we focus on a lot of geek culture sort of stuff, and or nerd culture, whatever you want to call it, and we present ourselves as mainly film nerds. And to be honest, that's more Dave and Jeff. I do love movies, but my biggest thing since I was a kid was always stand-up comedy. Loved it since I was little. When I was about 12, I wanted to be a comic. And to some degree I am. I mean, I do perform stand-up comedy. I did record an album about 2 years ago, and I really don't do it enough. I should do it more. I wish I could do it more, but it's still something that's very important to me, and that I will always love to do, even if it is on the minimal scale that I do it. This last couple of weeks, we lost two really, really great comics, and I know a lot of you guys are probably into things like that. And my whole life, I've looked at comics and guys that everybody should know, obscure. I mean, not to sound like a doofus, but I knew who Zach Galifianakis was long before The Hangover, and guys like that. I mean, I love finding comics that I've never seen before, and learning about new people and things like that. So, a couple of guys that we lost recently, Robert Schimmel, who has been around for a while, has done some really great stuff. You got to go get Unprotected. Wonderful, wonderful special. The guy has had an interesting life, to say the least. From surviving cancer to marrying his daughter's best friend to having liver troubles, needing a transplant, and his divorce craziness with a second wife. The guy was always pretty much an open book, and especially when he was on the Howard Stern show or the Adam Carolla show, he'd always give an unedited story of his life, and it was always fascinating. And he died in a car accident, which is eerily. It happened not that far from where I live, to tell you the truth. Dave and Jeff and I all live out here in Phoenix, and Schimmel was a native of Scottsdale, which is the east side of Phoenix, and I really, really feel for his daughter who was driving. That has to be a tough thing to try to get past as time goes on. I'm sure she'll feel some sense of responsibility for it, although the accident was ruled to be somebody else's fault. It's still going to be tough, and I always think about people's kids and how they're going to deal with it. And Schimmel, though it was shocking how he went with his recent illness and need for a liver transplant, it wasn't shocking that he went. I think that's something people sort of expected to happen soon if he couldn't get a transplant. I mean, God, I remember back when Walter Payton, the Bears running back, was going through the same kind of thing and had liver issues, and was on a waiting list and refused to use his celebrity to help him in any way on that. And we lost him at a young age, and I kind of got that same feeling with Schimmel. He didn't seem to be doing too badly, but you never know what can happen with these things. A few days ago, we also lost a guy that you might know from the Celebrity Roast on Comedy Central. but he was so much more than that. Greg Giraldo was definitely and will always be one of my favorites. I was lucky enough to see him live, and he just knocked it out of the park. The guy was amazing, and I saw a few articles that listed him as the star of Last Comic Standing, which is really a horrible thing to say, because he was a judge this last season, and I don't think he really enjoyed it. I heard an interview he did with Mark Maron, and it seemed like he did it to get a paycheck, which I don't fault him for. You got to do what you have to do. The guy had kids, and you need to take care of that, and comedy can be a tough thing, it seems. But he had an accidental drug overdose, and that's really it's really kind of a sad thing. I don't understand vices myself in that way. I guess I'm a little bit of a caffeine addict, and that's about as far as it goes. I just haven't had that personal issue. I mean, whether it's cigarettes or alcohol or drugs, some people get pulled in, and it's hard to get out of it. And he didn't make it, and it was just really sad. It's still tough to believe, even as just a fan. But I will always in the back of my mind be waiting for his next album, even though I know it's never coming. It's just very strange to me, and it seems like nobody can accept that he's gone. I really, really have to just make it, when you're done listening to this, go find some of his stuff on YouTube. Pick up this. He had 2 albums, Good Day to Cross the River, which I love, and Midlife Vices, which only came out last year, and was, again, just brilliant. I'll put a piece together for the website, most likely, and set up some links to his and Schimmel's things, so you can take a look at them. They're too good to miss out on. So, I don't know. It's still crazy to me that the guy's not going to be sharing his wisdom with us anymore. Either one of them. So, but enough of that. I mean, there's been plenty of mourning on the internet and the podcast world about both of these guys. So that's all I can really say about it. Again, as a fan, what can you do? So we're doing some great stuff on the website. We're catching up. I'm a little behind on posting. I am I have the unfortunate title of webmaster, which puts me in charge of posting everything. But Jeff's been doing a great job at adding some things to our Facebook page and getting you connected to things that are coming out and events that are happening around the country. And we're also working on our first event. Hopefully that'll be coming very soon. I'll have details as soon as that happens. Now, we've got a lot more articles. Our first edition of Hollywood Roadkill, which is movies that never made it to the big screen, but maybe should have. Our second edition should go up same day as this podcast, so check that out. They're the Lost Star Wars films. You'll enjoy it. Dave and I put this one together. And right now what I'm going to do is go ahead and send you over to Heather with Tom Towles. It's quite an interesting interview. I learned some things from my fellow Chicagoan. So, enjoy, and I'll see you after her little talk.
All right. So, when did you get started in acting, and how did you get into that business?
Well, I got out of the Marine Corps and thought I wanted to be a photographer. And I went to a school called Columbia College in Chicago. And I was taking photography courses there. And music in the theater. And apparently that was the class where all the women were going. All the girls were going to that class. So quite naturally, I followed them and took that class. And as it turned out, it was a pretty cool thing because the theater department had just gotten a new head, 2 new heads. One of the guys' name was Paul Sills. He's the guy who created Second City in Chicago and a bunch of other stuff. But when he took over, the co-head, a guy named Arnold Weinstein, saw me do a very tiny part in the show and asked me, you ever thought about acting? I said, no. Could I make a living at it? He said, it's possible. So I changed my major to from photography to theater, and it's been all downhill ever since.
All downhill, huh?
All downhill, yeah, exactly, man. Sliding into an abyss, just the madness of being emotionally unstable and having actually found an occupation that supports it. It's pretty cool.
I don't know, I think we're all pretty stable ourselves. We all love the horror movie genre.
Well, it serves a purpose. It gives us some exciting, thrilling adventure moments, and does very little damage to us physically. It puts us right in the face of all that fear and terror and savagery, and we get to walk out of the theater still in one piece. It's like roller coasters. They're fabulous, man. You careen down a steep bank and think, oh my God, I'm dead. And then you get off at the end of the ride and everything's fine.
Yeah,
I like it.
Very true. Which brings me to one of my next questions. You played a character called Otis in Portrait of a Serial Killer. What was it like to actually portray a real killer, and how did that role affect you or play on you?
We did a great deal of research before we actually started shooting the movie. We read a lot about these guys. We saw whatever movies and videotapes were available, and we did a lot of rehearsal beforehand. And the truth is, a character is a character. I mean, I only explore it for the length of time that I'm on camera. But during that time, it's possible to go very deep into your darkest psyche. And one of the great things about being an actor is that you actually do get to go completely nuts and not hurt anybody. And thus, you vent all of the insanity that I think we all carry with us. For actors, it's possible to do crazy things and not go to jail for it, because nobody's really getting hurt. I enjoyed doing that role. Mostly I enjoyed working with the director and the cast. But that's what the real joy of it all is. It's not any particular role, although some are certainly more fun than others. It's the people that you work with and what you can make happen within that synergistic relationship, How you can find a relationship with one character and how that works amplifies what you do and how you get to play off of each other. That's the fun of it.
Yeah, for sure, because you did an amazing job at making Otis a pretty sick bastard in the film, and everyone has...
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm blushing now. That's so sweet. Thank you. I love it when people's stomach turn when they see Otis. That's the other fun part. For me, it's creating a character, since I mostly play villains, create a villain that is so heinous, so repugnant that people just get disgusted when they see him.
Oh yeah, I think the scene that stuck with me was
the... that happened when I moved out to Los Angeles. There were casting directors who saw the movie and would not let me in their office.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I don't want to see him. No, I don't want him near me. I thought, oh man, that's so cool, but wait, I'm fucking up my career. What's going on here?
Yeah, I'd say the TV salesman scene's the one that stuck with me.
But. Oh, it in, Otis.
Yeah, that one definitely stuck. But,
Yeah, what about that? The home invasion sequence, you know, that moment of insanity. Henry was actually a good movie to work on. It was a first-time project for all of us, essentially. The director, the writers, the producer, and all the actors. And, you know, we didn't know what couldn't be done, so we just did it. There were no real limitations because we, you know, it was basically too stupid to know that there would be a problem. Can you hold on just 1 second? Someone is ringing my doorbell.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I'm sorry, Heather. That was something weird.
No need to apologize.
Some guy trying to sell me a solar panel.
Interesting.
Yes, indeed.
You don't get that down here in Texas.
I'm still very interested. I'm sorry, what did you say?
I say you don't get that down here in Texas.
They don't try and sell you solar panels in Texas?
No.
My ass. I would think that in Texas, that would be where they just be trying to hustle them every couple of minutes. You get a lot of sun in Texas.
Yeah, I haven't had any sales in 23 years. But
okay, cool.
sorry, I don't.
No problem.
It sounded good. But okay, where was I? Okay, yeah. So you do play a lot of bad guys. Do you ever try and portray non-bad guys, or do you just like to stick to, you know, playing the bad guys? Because you do, like I said, you do a damn good job at it. I mean,
well, you're extremely kind, but you know, the thing about doing movies is you actually do get typecast, and the way it's worked out, I basically played villains for my entire theatrical career. I don't know, you know, even on stage. I played Hap and Huck Finn. I played this character Chaos in a play called War that we took to Broadway. I played the evil fox in a fairy tale. You know, it's like I'm just they see me as something villainous, which is fine by me, because without a villain you have no hero. You know, I mean, if you have a weak villain, your hero is very weak. The stronger your villain, the more he forces the hero to overcome, the stronger the hero is. So I don't have a problem with it. I actually kind of enjoy it. Not kind of, I absolutely do enjoy it. I love what I do.
well, you bring joy to all of us in our homes and in theaters. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's cool, you know. I mean, plus it beats working for a living.
I'll trade you jobs any day of the week. Oh, you alright?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I have asthma, so, you know, you'll hear me cough every once in a while. It doesn't mean anything except that I'm coughing.
Say, no, I killed Tom by making him laugh.
No, she killed me. Stop, please. It's too funny. I can't breathe. Oh, God.
I think people would want to kill me if I did that. But
oh, no. There's some people who would actually happily reward you and protect you from the others who might want to kill you. The universe is balanced, Heather. There's pros and cons to everything.
very true. So
Yeah. So what do you do besides this? I mean, besides reportage?
I kind of lost my job over a film I'm making, so I'm kind of unemployed at the moment.
No problem. I think, you know, basically I think if you want to be anything that carries with it a dream and is attached to something creative, at some point you have to be willing to take the chance
Yeah.
to do things, you know, I mean, to actually lose a job, to not have a fallback position. It drives you forward very aggressively.
It's definitely pushing me to make the movie, that's for sure. You know, knowing that I lost my job over something that had nothing to do with my job, my work, you know, pushes me farther. But.
Yeah, I mean, and in truth, we control most of what happens to us, and to that extent, you didn't really like the fucking job in the first place.
No.
So why should you spend time working at something you don't like when you have an opportunity to do something that you're really, truly passionate about? Stick with passion. It makes all the difference in the world.
I truly agree with that.
Stuff will fall into place. You know, occasionally, you may have to sleep with friends, but
and very true statement. So, you're in the remake of Night of the Living Dead. Can you tell us about that? Did you enjoy making that? And I mean, it's
well, again, it was another project with a first-time director, Tom Savini, who is a great special effects guy, and it was a grueling physical event because it was all nights, and nights are very difficult to shoot. Your rhythm gets upset. The time that it takes to set up shots is very, very tedious and cumbersome sometimes, and it weighs upon you. But I think he did a great job, and he's absolutely one of the greatest people you can ever work with. I mean, he's hysterical, he's funny, extremely talented. And I'm just sorry he hasn't directed another movie. But I don't think directing is something for everybody. It's a very unique experience. It's a massive study in sleep deprivation, basically. If you're a director, once you start production, you're actually filming, you're lucky if you get 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night. And that's working a minimum of a 12-hour day. So the process is grueling, and it takes its toll on many, many people.
Yep.
But it was fun. I loved working with Tom. Got to work with Tony Todd, Patricia Towles, Bill Butler. It's a good cast, another good cast that, we found a way to have a lot of fun doing the stuff that we enjoy doing. That's when it works out best.
Definitely.
But I think I'm repeating myself.
No, you're fine. You're not. Now, to some more recent films you've actually worked on, which happened, one of them is definitely my favorite, which would be Devil's Rejects. But you worked with Rob Zombie and, House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and Halloween. What was it like to work with him, him also coming from the horror genre and his music and all that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear all that. My phone blared out. What was it like to do what with?
Work with Rob Zombie on, House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and Halloween's, knowing his background from horror as well with his music and stuff like that.
Well, again, the thing about Rob is he is another first-time director, and this guy is truly amazing. I mean, he's amazing. Everything that he did before with his music, and his sense of creating videos, everything led up to his becoming one of the better directors I've ever worked with. I've met very few people who are absolutely so perfectly adapted to the job. It's like I say, I've worked with a lot of first-time directors, and I've seen the toll it takes on them, and never once in the 4 projects, 3, 4, 5, because I did a music video with him, and we did the little short, the trailer for Werewolf Women of the SS, which was part of Grindhouse. I never once saw him falter. The guy is just completely, perfectly adapted to it. Nothing seems to faze him, and he always has a good time, and he you a lot of latitude to do things, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, he'll just, that didn't work. Okay? But that's something you don't see in a lot of directors. Most of them are modular people. This is what I want. I don't want any variable. Rob is completely open to the process of experimentation, and what you end up with is a very, very interesting synergistic process that encompasses the actors, the director, and the crew. Everybody's working towards something very specific, and they're all always excited about it. He's terrific. I mean, I asked him once, how do you manage it? You're a first-time director. I've seen this process eat people alive. He says, it's just from years of taking a rock and roll show on the road. It's like moving a circus around. Something will always go wrong, and you just have to be ready to adapt to it. And he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right, because that's what it's like. You're moving this massive operation from point to point, be it physically or emotionally or intellectually in terms of what's happening on camera. And something will always go wrong. And you either adapt or you get hysterical and you die. He absolutely instantly adapts. And the result is probably some of the most interesting and creative stuff that's come out in the genre in a very long time. I mean, he's clearly paying homage to the films that he liked through the 60s and 70s and 80s. But he's making them all his own. I mean, it's true of Halloween. Halloween is relentless in its pace. You watch it. I mean, once you sit down in that theater, from the moment it starts, it's like you walk out exhausted. And that, I think, is an intentional effect. And I think it's very fine filmmaking.
Yeah. Now,
that's my rant on Rob
Zombie. Your character in the two films is Lieutenant Wydell, and the first one, House of a Thousand Corpses, he plays, you play a big sweetheart. I mean, I was just blown away by, Wydell, and he was my kind of secret favorite character throughout the film, and he transforms in the second one to, making his brother go on this revengeous rampage. How do you feel about the films? They're very two different. How do you feel about the transformation of your character going from, this big sweet teddy bear police officer to, driving for revenge?
I think the transition is probably one that, clearly Rob intended. I honestly didn't think that I was going to work in Devil's Rejects at all, but when he called me in to do my ghost, I thought that was fabulous. And he wanted to use it as that fulcrum point to drive that revenge. I don't think the transition is out of place. I think that Wydell in the first one is just sympathetic toward the loss of these children, towards the disappearance of the guy's daughter, towards the potential of trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, that's who that character is. But at his core, I think he also can be, or at least I felt he was, capable of a tremendous amount of action for the benefit of those who are repressed or being violated, which is basically what a police officer does. The fact that he's calm and reasonably sweet, which, when you mention it, that's probably the first generally sweet character that I've ever played that I can remember. Maybe there were a couple others before that, but, not many. Not many. But his transition is, part of his sense of justice. For him, it's like, you're the only living relative. You're the only force that can take them down. Kill them all. I want that bitch dead.
Yeah. He definitely made a transition, though, from the films. I said he's one of my
What?
favorite. I said he definitely made a transition in the films, you know, from just the Southern
Oh, yeah.
hospitality, you know, thank you, ma'am, and it only take a minute, ma'am, to, like you said, kill that bitch.
Yeah, well, as soon as, you're trying to be polite to the bitch and she blows your fucking head off, it's going to totally piss you off, even if you're dead.
For sure, for sure. You've also done a lot of TV works. You worked on ER, Malcolm in the Middle, and Drew Carey Show. You've done quite a few. What are some of your fondest memories from TV and your favorite show that you've worked on?
My favorite, I've done a lot of them. Seinfeld. I love half-hour sitcoms. They're just pure fun. It's a madhouse. It's a level of work intensity in a very short period of time that you don't often see. But the really fun ones, the crazy ones, they're just fun to do. Seinfeld was fun to do. Third Rock from the Sun probably had to be my favorite, simply because I really loved that show so much. I thought it was a marvelous updating of the Marx Brothers, this totally insane madcap alien world, and they got it to work. And I just absolutely enjoyed the people. I enjoyed being on the set, and I enjoyed the part that I had to do. The next one after that would probably be Malcolm in the Middle, another really, really wonderful show. And then, but, it's hard to say which are the best. I mean, I love Seinfeld. I love Drew Carey. I love working on NYPD Blue. I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy. I just love working. Like I say, it really does beat working for a living, I feel like I'm working for myself and doing something that's actually a lot of fun. And occasionally it actually pays pretty well, too.
I can imagine. But is there any any horror story, like actual horror stories you can share from being on the movie sets, just where things pure went to hell, that you could have probably made a horror movie out of the horror movie? Or just a fun story, I mean.
I'm trying to think, the biggest problem that I face is when a project is over, I generally completely dismiss it from my mind. I mean, completely. I have a few memories here and there, but overall I don't really remember it. I think it's not a good thing to hold on to those memories for a very long period of time, because you're always looking back that way. I think the best thing is to move forward. I think one of the interesting things that probably happened was on Henry, when we were shooting the home invasion scene. It got, I've done this for not a very long time, but for quite a while at that point. Done a lot of theater, so I knew how to make something look truly horrible and violent without actually generating any physical stress or pain to the other person, or myself for that matter. It just looks really intense and violent. But in the process of shooting that scene, it so overwhelmed the woman that I was raping and murdering, without me putting any physical pressure on her in any way, save for the fact that she had to bend in a particular way. But we had to stop, 3 times just because she was starting to get hysterical, and eventually she had to go to the emergency room for no other reason than she was in a state of shock.
Wow.
So, that's kind of a horror story in a horror movie.
Definitely, yeah.
And believe me, I did not hurt her or pressure her physically in any way, shape, or form. And she said, I can't take this. I can't take it.
Yeah.
It was too vivid for her. But again, I think it comes through in the movie.
Yeah. That's a pretty good story. I mean, but so do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on or soon to be?
Actually, I don't have much of anything. I'm writing more now than acting. Acting, you go through cycles. Acting was a huge amount of fun, and I loved doing it, but I was not happy with the process of being in Los Angeles. So I left. I moved away. I moved to Florida, actually. And I just want to write. So I've written a book, a detective crime novel, written a bunch of short stories, had a couple of them published. Planning on getting more published. But mostly I don't even write movie scripts or TV shows. I'm writing novels, short stories, and I have a graphic novel that I'm writing with a bunch of other people. It's called Dead Moon, and that will probably be out within the next, I think, 9 or 10 months. We're still in the process of finalizing the illustrations.
Oh,
but that should be an interesting project.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely have to pick that one up for sure.
Oh yeah, no, I think you might enjoy it. There's some interesting little quirky stuff going on in that one. And I have an idea for about 4 others that I'm looking forward to doing. And like I say, for me right now, writing is the kind of fun I used to have when I first started doing theater and movies. I'm a firm believer in enjoying what I do. If I'm not really having a great time, then it's probably time for me to do something else.
Yeah.
And I was starting to get real cranky. I was doing movies.
I say you don't seem like a cranky guy to me. You've been very sweet.
I'm being cranky to you?
No, you've been very sweet.
Well, that's because you're very sweet. But don't fucking piss me off. You see what I'm saying? Oh, sorry. That just came out. Yeah, I apologize.
Oh, you're fine. That actually made me smile. That cracked me up.
Cool. Very good.
Well, there you have it, folks. Don't piss off Tom Towles. He will fuck you up. Remember, he played a serial killer, a real serial killer. So don't test him. He studied the guy, for God's sakes. Read books, watch movies. How about Otis fucking Toole? Don't mess with the guy. Really, seriously. Well, we'd like to thank Tom Towles for doing the interview and thank Heather Henshaw for putting that together. She did a great job. Now, head over to cinemaheadcheese.com. From there, you can link to our Facebook page, our Twitter page. You can look at all of our reviews, podcasts, interviews, articles, everything and anything you could ever dream of. Now, the main feed on the homepage gives you everything we've ever posted, newest on top. So check it out, go through it, sort through it. You can look at all of our columnists, see who does what, all kinds of crazy stuff like that. Check out the toolbar on the bottom of the page. That's my favorite thing on the whole website, and I didn't even build it. So we got that from our friends over at Wibia. If you need a toolbar, that's the place to go. They're awesome. But anyway, check that out. We've got a button to our YouTube channel, our RSS feed if you want to subscribe to this, which I highly suggest. If you subscribe to this feed, you'll get not only the download of our podcast, but you will get links to every single article, review, and interview that we post. Also, head over to iTunes. You can download us from there. So anything you can think of, we're on it. Okay? Oh, Zune. I have to get on Zune. Don't let me forget. If I forget and you're on Zune and you're looking for us, send us an email, cinemaheadcheese@yahoo.com. Say, Kevin, you're a dummy. Go put it on Zune. I'll do it. Okay? All right. And if there's anything else you want, email us, cinemaheadcheese@yahoo.com. Now, also on that toolbar, you'll see a little heart. If you like what we do and you want to support us, please click that little heart. You can donate to us through PayPal. Any amount you want, if it's $1, If it's 50 cents, if it's $1 million, we'll love you for that, believe me. But we don't expect it. And Jeff Dolniak is going to put together some great little packages for our donors. So go and do that, and we'll get you something really cool. Okay, we'll put together some specific, if I could talk, specific packages very soon. That's a difficult word, specific. Thank you. I'm an ass. All right. Until next time, we're going to get that Mink Stoll interview up very soon. That'll be our next one, hopefully. We got a little issue with retrieving the material there, but not a big deal. We'll get it. Okay? All right. Thank you, kids. And until next time, have a good one.